Hello and welcome back to a new episode of Halfway with Hathaway. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody. Really appreciate everybody who listens, tunes in, follows, subscribes, and just all around support. I just want to wish you all a happy holidays. And as we get into this episode, I'm gonna start off with some basketball right away. Clippers, probably one of the NBA's hottest teams right now. They could be a real threat down the road when it comes to playoff time, especially now that we have this big three really starting to click together. They're 17-11 overall at the time of this podcast. They were on a 9-game win streak until the Thunder ended up snapping that. But this is really fun to watch, this LA Clippers team. They're the best team in LA, without a doubt. I mean, Kawhi's been averaging 24, Paul George averaging 22, Harden with 17 a game, and then Russell Westbrook with 11 as well. I think this team's really fun to watch. They have a really great support cast as well with Powell. He's up there in top 5 scoring on that team. Really exciting to watch. But I think to me, this is a really good Clippers team that we're watching. And to see James Harden kind of play like how he has, and then Kawhi Leonard also being able to produce kind of what we saw him doing in San Antonio, and then also with his stint in Toronto as well. So I think having Kawhi Leonard playing really great basketball at that high level when he's healthy, this new NBA rule about load management has really been helping Kawhi and Paul George out so that they can perform. That's why we're seeing them both average over 20 points a game. So I just want to start off the Clippers. They've been a really good team to watch. Somebody who you should keep on your radar is this LA Clippers team, without a doubt, in my mind. And staying on the same path of the NBA, Zion's contract is no longer guaranteed. The 5 years, $197 million will no longer be guaranteed a part of his contract because his weight and body fat is not under 295. I said it earlier this season and a few episodes ago about Zion's weight, so take a listen to that. But man, it's so upsetting to see, because this is a kid who has dominated this sport for so long, and so early in his career as well, especially in high school. This is when he rose to stardom. He transcended basketball at the high school level where the coverage was so big. We haven't seen somebody like that. I think, 2016 Chino Hills, they were a very great group. But Zion just transcended that. He absolutely changed the game of how people are going to be viewing high school basketball. And then when he was at Duke, absolutely phenomenal. This is his best basketball that I've ever seen him play. This is when he was the skinniest. This is when he was the healthiest as well, was when he was at Duke, before, the knee injury against UNC that year, which was so highly anticipated. I wanted to see him play UNC and beat them, because I cannot stand the University of North Carolina. Like, that color blue to me, I cannot stand. That's definitely a later episode, especially when Duke and UNC are playing each other. And for those who don't know, I'm a big Duke fan. I bleed royal blue. I can't stand the Tar Heel blue, but like I said, that's an episode for itself, and I'll make sure to wear my Duke shirt for that one. But for Zion, I can't keep defending him. I've done it for so long. When I was in college, I had a radio show, and that's all I did. Especially my co-host and I would banter back and forth about it. I would just keep defending Zion. Now I'm at a time where I'm like, no, I cannot anymore. And it's upsetting. Zion Williamson is supposed to be the face of the NBA right now. He is supposed to be that guy. And it's not. It's not him. This is a guy who's getting paid a ton of money right now to play a sport that so many people want to play. but he cannot control himself. He cannot cut that weight down no matter what he tries to do. And to me, it's like you should want to play. You should strive every single day. If you are a max contract superstar NBA player, you should strive each and every day to want the best for yourself and for your team. Now this money is not going to be guaranteed because he hasn't cut the weight. He also hasn't been playing the minimum amount of games that he should be playing. And the Pelicans purposely did this with his contract to make sure that they are getting the best out of him. And they're not. They're absolutely not doing that at all. And it's frustrating to watch and see, because it's not like he's trying to get better. It's not like he's putting in the effort to. It seems like it's just been a consistent flat line. There's no progression with his body fat percentage and his weight going down. And to me, it's just, you have to care. You have to put in 110% every single day. And if you don't get that, then that's why you're not going to get the money. You have to want it at the end of the day. And it doesn't seem like Zion wants it at all. And it's upsetting. It's frustrating because this is somebody who is supposed to, like I said, be the face of the NBA. This is somebody who's supposed to take over basketball. And he hasn't. He hasn't done anything. He hasn't been playing a lot. He's been playing about like under 100 games total, just about. And so to me, it's a disappointment. Now, we could go back, 5 years from now and say, okay, is Zion one of the biggest busts in the NBA? That's a conversation for a different day, of course. And that's why, to me, I can't keep defending Zion. This is something that's been going on for years now. I've said, you know what? He's hurt. He's going to put on some extra weight. He's hurt. He's not practicing as much. But now you see it, and it's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you have to sometimes just get up off your butt, go work out, go on a diet, and make sure it's strict too. I mean, I said it like a few episodes ago that the Pelicans were trying to work with him, but nothing's progressing. He doesn't want to. So to me, it's just a waste at the end of the day. It's like, okay, we invested so much into you. You're the face of a team, which he's not anymore. It's Brandon Ingram's team. It wasn't supposed to be. It's supposed to be Zion's team. B.I. is going to be in that shadow. They added C.J. McCollum, be that third guy to form the big three. They have J.V., Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Jose Alvarado. They have a good, solid group of players. And they built it all around Zion. And it's like, for what? Like I said, I'll reevaluate this at the end of the season, see where the Pelicans are going, if they're making a playoff run, if Zion is playing to that MVP caliber that he should be in year 5. We'll have to see. Because if you want money, if you want to make those hundreds of millions of dollars, have your own shoe, do all that, there's some people who deserve it more than Zion does right now. I said it. There are some players in the NBA right now who deserve this money, who deserve those shoe brand deals. And he's taking that away from somebody who should have it. I mean, it's upsetting. Zion Williamson needs to get this under control if he wants to get the money and be the face of the National Basketball Association. It's as simple as that. I mean, he just needs to be strict with himself. That's all it is. Should the Pelicans have taken Ja number 1? Since he's been back from his suspension, he's been hooping. That's the question. That's the big what if. What if the Pelicans took Ja Morant over Zion? That's something That's something to think about right there. And sticking with basketball, the Big East is the best conference in NCAA men's basketball. No question. The ACC is not as good as it used to be. It's not. There's just no competition like the Big East. UConn, Marquette, Creighton. 3 teams that are in the top 25, let alone the top 10, they lose. All on the first night of Big East Conference basketball. It's mind-blowing that you have teams with over 10 wins perform like they did in their season in the Big East Conference opener. UConn, in the Danny Hurley era in the last 4 years, 1-3 overall in Big East season openers. Last season they lost in their season opener, won the national championship. Okay. Can history repeat itself? I believe so. But this was not the UConn team that we saw beat UNC, that lost by a few points to Kansas. This team just did not want it out there. And it was a frustrating game to watch, that's for sure. Especially for UConn. Creighton and Marquette had some really good games as well. Providence is looking really good. The AMP, one of the best basketball arenas in college basketball. The atmosphere is absolutely electric. It's no Allen Fieldhouse. It's no Cameron Indoor Stadium. It's no Gamble Pavilion. Providence looks good, and their non-conference games, they didn't look as good as they did. But Big East is a whole different season. Everyone's 0-0 now going into it, and you just have to play basketball. At the end of the day. So Providence, Kim English, he's brewing something in Providence, that's for sure. Friartown's going to be electric. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. And Donovan Clingan for UConn, he got hurt against Seton Hall. Sprained ankle, has not been practicing this week whatsoever. Probably will not play Saturday against St. John's as they come to the XL Center to take on the Huskies. Rick Pitino, that's going to be fun. That's going to be a game to watch, that's for sure. And for UConn, losing Clingan, going to be huge, especially since he's one of the best big men in college basketball right now. Make sure to follow me on Twitter. I have a lot of updates. I have a good in with UConn right now, so just follow me at Hathaway George 9 because I will be updating about this Clingan injury. Talked about it already, that hasn't been practicing. He had an MRI earlier Friday morning. Haven't heard the results back yet. I've been checking my phone. Haven't seen anything yet about it, and it's college basketball has been fun. UCLA already has 6 losses this season. That's as many as they had last year. This is a totally different UCLA team. College basketball is on a whole other level with the NIL deal, the new transfer rules. It's going to be crazy to see how this transition is going to be, and it's the right thing for college basketball. This is by far a lot more fun and a lot better than the NBA right now. That's another hot take I have for today is college basketball is a lot better than the NBA. Just for so many different reasons. So many good teams. You don't know who's the true number one. You don't know who's gonna be up there. So many teams losing early in the top 10 for the AP poll. This is what it's all about. It's not even March yet. Let's talk about that. It's not even March, and we're having these crazy upsets and great games down to the wire. These should be some bye games. These should be games that you blow out a team by 50, especially with these non-conference games. But these teams are losing. Some of these top 10 teams are losing, and it's just so fun to watch. That's what makes college basketball so interesting, because you never know on any given night what's going to happen, who's going to win. The other team may perform better than the top 10 team. That's just what it's all about. But college basketball has been amazing. The Big East is the best conference in all college sports and in college basketball right now too. And sticking with the whole college sports theme kind of going on, Colorado football had 6 commits on National Signing Day earlier this week. 26 transfers have gone to Colorado, most in college football. Georgia has 28 transfers. I mean, that makes sense. It's the Georgia Bulldogs. They're the top dog. I mean, they're one of the best teams in college football. I'm going to dive into more college football next week on next week's episode, because that's going to be a little bit closer to the college football playoffs. Talk a lot more about that. Maybe some picks. We'll get Jay on here. We'll go through Jay's parlays again, especially with college football playoffs. So Colorado football, though, this was supposed to be, the year, Deion Sanders is going to transform it all, but then they underperformed, this season for Colorado. They did not play up to the hype. First 4 games were electric to watch, and Deion being prime time, the sunglasses, the swagger that they had, and then they fell off. They just went up and then straight down. It wasn't even like a slow decline. It was just a huge drop, 100-foot drop, free fall. So Colorado football, that's why they didn't have a lot of commits on National Signing Day, because you didn't have that security of, okay, I'm going to play at a high level, I'm going to win a lot of games, then I'm going to go to the NFL. That's just like the thought process for a lot of these high school kids wanting to go into the college football world. It's that they want to eventually get their dream goal of going to the National Football League. And with Colorado, do you think that you can do it there? Do you think you can do it in Boulder? Probably not, especially with how you saw this team perform. Will Deion be out in a few years? That's the next question you have to ask yourself. They didn't live up to the hype. They didn't get a lot of commits. You have to think to yourself, will Deion still be in Colorado in a few years once a lot of these seniors leave, in the upcoming season, and even in the season after with a lot of these juniors. 26 transfers, that's a good number though. With those transfers, you're getting a good group of guys coming in who haven't felt the program yet and want to live with the hype of Colorado football. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, you have to think to yourself, then, okay, these transfers, are they going to play? Are they even good enough to perform to Deion's expectations? We'll have to see, once the season's over, and then, they all report back, in the summer. So to me, Colorado football, it's like Dogecoin a little bit. That's what I feel like Colorado football is. Everybody was buying. Then it spiked, and then everyone just sold, and it dropped drastically. Once Colorado lost, those few games to USC or UCLA, Stanford, it was like, okay, we saw how Deion was when they lost, and then it was like, all right, on to the next, the next fad of college football. It's like wearing Supreme or wearing Hypebeast. Everybody did it for like a few years, and then nobody cares about it anymore. That's just my analogy of Colorado football. It's everybody bought and they sold, and then we haven't heard of it since. Speaking of a team that's been losing a lot on the gridiron, the Philadelphia Eagles. Cry, Eagles, cry. 3 straight losses. I mean, whew. And were those some tough losses for Philadelphia? This is a team where we're like, okay, Jalen Hurts can be MVP. He certainly can be. I said it, I think a few episodes ago. I was talking about Brock Purdy being MVP. How he's the favorite. Maybe Jalen Hurts can sneak in there, but I mean, the Eagles, this isn't a team that we saw like last year in the Super Bowl. This isn't a Super Bowl contending team. And they fell. They fell from first place down to fifth. I mean, it was nothing special. The Eagles, they're not even the best team in their own division. Of course, it's going to be the Cowboys. We know that from day one. You know, the Cowboys, I love them. I absolutely do. They're a great team. And, you know, NFC East, always been a competitive division. But the Eagles with 3 straight losses, I'm not counting them out. But this is a time of year where you need to start winning and proving yourself that you're going to be a Super Bowl contending team. You know, if they're going to be in the hunt or in the wild card, you know, a wild card team, they're not going to be in the hunt, but they're going to be a wild card team, that's for sure. Do you think, all right, can they win? They have to win a lot more games, you know, that they're going to have to win one more game than the Cowboys or 49ers will have to. Yeah, that's, oof. The Eagles. I know a lot of Eagles fans, they probably won't like that, but I don't think that they can make it past probably the divisional round. I don't see it happening. They'll win the wild card game and then probably get bounced. Those things just happen. Everybody knows how to defend the tush push. Everyone knows how to defend the brotherly shove. It's, you know, without that, you got to think, okay, what are the Eagles now? They used to be a fun team to watch. Everybody loved it. You know, just like how I was saying, you know, talking about things that we were hyped about. It was the Eagles, where everyone was hyped about the Eagles. Love, you know, Jason Kelce. He's a great guy. A really great veteran leader. Jalen Hurts is amazing. Really solid team. It's just these 3 straight losses should not be coming in December. These are losses that you take early in the season, build off of it, and start winning. But they've won all season long. Now it's like, okay, losing in December. Air's cold in Philly. I know what that's like. So it's just like, come on. You can't be losing these games now. You have to be winning, especially if you want to be playing in February. That's just how it's going to go. So for the Eagles, yeah, that's a tough one there. They're not looking too hot right now, and for me, I'm not all in. That's why I don't think they can make it past the divisional round whatsoever. Another team that I don't think will be making it past the divisional round, I said it on last week's episode, the LA Dodgers. Huge signing. You know, with Shohei, I talked about it last week, and how that's turning out. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, probably butchered that a little bit, but Yamamoto and the Dodgers in agreement for a 12-year, $325 million contract. Wow. This is all for a team that's probably not going to make it past the NLDS. Let's be honest. I said it last week, Dodgers are ruining baseball. It's not good spending all this money on big signings, form a super team, and then all for what? At the end of the day, you know, you spend all this money, but at what cost? It's going to do nothing for you if you don't win. Shohei, you know, said it in his press conference that a big reason why he went to the Dodgers is because he saw how they won, then they lost a few years, and they wanted to build a winning team, and he liked to see that. He liked to know that there is some sort of longevity, that there is some sort of insurance of winning. And with the addition of Yamamoto, it'll be solid, but it's not going to be winning. You can spend all the money in the world, but you can't win. The same with the Yankees. I said it last week. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but the Dodgers ruining baseball with this once again. I'm not buying in on this Dodgers team until they can actually prove it. Build the super team that you want. But it's going to do nothing for you to the end of the day if you don't have a World Series ring on your finger. It won't do anything. And then plus you're going to have to pay all these players a crap ton of money over the next 20 years. And then it's just going to be like, they're going to have nobody to sign long term, or they're not gonna have anybody to sign in the future because they're gonna be spending all this money still paying Otani and Yamamoto long time from now. And then you got to think about the health and everything like that. It's a tricky situation. It's a risk that the Dodgers want to take. They're notorious for this. But I mean, in the last like 10 years, I mean, I haven't seen much success. Losing the Red Sox in the World Series, they won one in 2020, right? I mean, but other than that, it hasn't been much. You see them go to the World Series, they win one, and then nothing happens. That's why I'm not buying in on the Dodgers once again. It's until they prove it to me. I need to be proven wrong. And then maybe I'll say, okay, yeah, I was wrong. Dodgers are good. Talk to me in a year, 10 months from now, 8 months from now, whatever it is, and in October, we'll see if they're still playing. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. It's not good for the sport, not good for the brand of baseball. You're going to be spending all this money. That's why leagues like the NFL or the NBA, they have salary caps. There's a limit of what you can spend, and I think at the end of the year, MLB, Rob Manfred, they're gonna go over some things and talk about it more, because the Dodgers, Yankees, it's the same tune. Just spending all this money on a super team for nothing at the end of the day. Especially the Yankees. Can't stand the Yankees. Hate them. Hate the Yankees. Like I said, they're going to be spending all this money to probably be third in the AL East, the Yankees. I mean, come on. Let's be honest now. Nobody's buying in on the Yankees for another year. That's for sure. But that's going to do it all on today's episode of Halfway with Hathaway. Thank you so much again for tuning in. Have a happy holidays. Make sure to catch us again next week. Make sure to follow, subscribe, like, comment, everything, the interactions on the Spotify. Make sure to interact with those. I put out some good questions for you guys. But yet again, happy holidays. Thank you so much for tuning in.